Welcome to this video, where we are about to uncover a profound truth that could truly change the course of your life. Picture yourself going through your everyday routine, the job, the family, the house, the plans you've carefully set up. On the surface, everything seems to be falling into place. But beneath it all, there's this subtle, lingering sense of unease, a feeling that something isn't quite right. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why that is? What if there are unseen forces at play, things beyond our immediate awareness, silently eroding our peace of mind and happiness? In this fast-paced modern world, it's easy to get caught up in the noise and distractions around us. We often believe that by managing our responsibilities and ticking off our goals, we can shield ourselves from life's unpredictabilities. Yet, in doing so, we may overlook a deep-rooted need that exists within all of us. It's the need for spiritual protection and refuge, a sanctuary from the chaos that surrounds us. But what does true refuge really mean? Why is it so essential, not just for monks or spiritual seekers, but for each and every one of us? The answer lies in the teachings of Buddhism. Buddhism offers more than just a spiritual path. It offers a practical guide to finding lasting peace, a peace that isn't shaken by the constant waves of life. In Buddhism, we learn that the true source of peace comes not from external circumstances, but from within ourselves. We are taught to cultivate mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom, tools that protect our hearts and minds from the burdens of stress, fear, and negativity that so often dominate our daily lives. We are all vulnerable to the storms of life, whether it's the pressures of work, the struggles within our relationships, or the uncertainties of the future. But by embracing the teachings of Buddhism, we find a refuge that brings clarity and balance. Through meditation and self-awareness, we learn to quiet the mind, to center ourselves, and to protect our inner peace from being swept away by the turbulence of the outside world. In today's world, where distractions and external pressures seem endless, finding refuge in Buddhism can be the one thing that restores our sense of calm and direction. So, stick with us in this video, and by the end, you'll understand exactly how you can begin this journey towards finding true refuge, and why it is essential for navigating the challenges of modern life. This is not just about escaping the world, but learning how to live in it with a clear mind, a compassionate heart, and an unwavering sense of peace. In the Buddha's teachings, we are introduced to three fundamental pillars that form the very foundation of the spiritual path: the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. But what do these words really mean in our lives today? We've all probably heard these terms before, but how often do we pause to truly reflect on their significance and the transformative power they hold? The Buddha is often depicted as a historical figure, someone who achieved enlightenment thousands of years ago. But in reality, the Buddha represents much more than that. He is the embodiment of the potential that exists within each of us. His life, his awakening, serves as a shining example of what we can all achieve: true wisdom, clarity, and peace. The Buddha is not a distant figure in time. He is the reminder that enlightenment is within reach for everyone, regardless of who we are or where we come from. When we look to the Buddha, we are reminded that within our own hearts lies the seed of awakening, waiting to be nurtured. The Dhamma, on the other hand, is not just a collection of teachings or doctrines. It is the very path to freedom. The Dhamma is the truth of how things truly are, the natural laws that govern our lives and the universe. It's the map that shows us how to navigate the ups and downs of existence, helping us to understand the nature of suffering and how to transcend it. The Dhamma is not something to merely read about or memorize. It's something to be lived. It is the wisdom that guides us through the challenges of life, offering us tools to cultivate compassion, mindfulness, and inner peace. By following the Dhamma, we step onto the path of liberation, one that frees us from the attachments, fears, and anxieties that hold us back from true happiness. And then there's the Sangha. The Sangha is often understood as the community of monks, but its meaning stretches far beyond that. The Sangha represents the community of those who are walking the path of awakening, Whether they are monks, lay practitioners, or anyone striving to live in accordance with the Dhamma, the Sangha is not just a group of people, it's a source of support, guidance, and inspiration. In the Sangha, we find a space where we can learn from one another, share our struggles, and grow together. It's a reminder that we are not alone in this journey. We are surrounded by like-minded individuals who are committed to seeking wisdom and peace. The Sangha provides us with the encouragement and strength we need to persevere, especially in moments of doubt and difficulty. Together, these three pillars, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, are not just ancient concepts, but living, breathing elements that we can bring into our lives today. They offer us a refuge from the fears and anxieties that often overwhelm us. They are the keys to overcoming suffering and finding lasting peace. In a world full of uncertainty, these teachings provide us with a solid foundation to stand on, guiding us through the stormy seas of life. As we explore these pillars more deeply, you'll begin to see how they can offer protection, wisdom, and clarity for anyone willing to open their hearts and minds. They are the refuge that shields us from the dangers that threaten our peace both now and in the future. In our everyday lives, we often feel a sense of safety. We have our homes, our routines, and the comfort of our loved ones around us. But have you ever paused to ask yourself, what happens when we look deeper? What about the dangers that exist beyond our immediate view? The Buddha's teachings reveal a profound truth. The greatest dangers we face don't always come from the outside world. They lie within us, in the unseen forces of the mind. It's the fears that we try to bury, the desires that constantly pull us in different directions, and the relentless push to avoid facing the inevitable. These internal struggles, though often overlooked, are the true threats to our peace and well-being. These invisible forces can infiltrate our thoughts, cloud our judgment, and control our emotions, often without us even realizing it. The Buddha teaches us that as long as we remain unaware of these forces, they continue to shape our lives in negative ways, creating suffering in ways we may not even fully understand. These hidden struggles can drain our energy, stir up anxiety, and leave us feeling disconnected from the peace we truly seek. And, because they are deeply rooted in our own minds, they are far more pervasive and harder to escape than any external hardship. So how do we protect ourselves from these internal dangers? The concept of refuge in Buddhism offers a powerful answer. It's not just about seeking safety from the external chaos of the world. It's about finding a way to shield ourselves from the internal chaos that fuels our suffering. True refuge comes from developing a deep understanding of the mind and its tendencies. It comes from cultivating awareness, compassion, and wisdom, which allow us to see through the layers of confusion and fear that dominate our thoughts. By doing so, we can gradually transform these internal struggles and find lasting peace. In this part of the video, we will explore why these internal dangers are much more pervasive than we realize, and why they require something greater than our own strength to overcome. We will see how turning to the teachings of the Buddha, with the wisdom they provide, offers a pathway to liberation. This isn't just about escaping the world, it's about facing the true obstacles within ourselves, and learning to live with peace, clarity, and courage in the face of life's challenges. The Buddha teaches us that there are three types of danger in our lives: the dangers of the present, the dangers of future lives, and the dangers of the endless cycle of existence, known as samsara. Let's take a moment to reflect on these dangers, because they are far deeper and more impactful than we might first realize. The dangers of the present are the ones we are most familiar with. They are the challenges we face in our everyday lives, the threats of death, illness, and the instability of society. We are constantly reminded of how fragile life is, how fleeting our time here can be. Whether it's the fear of losing loved ones, the unpredictability of our health, or the chaos around us, these dangers are all too real and tangible. They stir anxiety in our hearts and remind us of our vulnerability. But there's another danger that often goes unnoticed: the dangers of the future. After death, where do we go? What happens to our consciousness? And do our actions today determine the fate we will face in future lives? These questions can be unsettling, yet they are crucial. The Buddha showed us that the choices we make today ripple through time, shaping not only our present, but also our future existence. If we live with ignorance and attachment, we are bound to face suffering once again, life after life. This cycle of birth, suffering, and rebirth, known as samsara, is a constant wheel that traps us in its grasp. But here's the twist. The Buddha's teachings go beyond simply avoiding pain or fear. It's not just about surviving the dangers that come our way. It's about transcending the entire cycle of suffering. To break free from the chains of samsara, we must go beyond our attachment to the temporary and the fleeting. We must recognize that this cycle of birth, suffering, and rebirth is not the end of our journey, but a cycle that can be escaped. The Buddha didn't just teach us how to avoid harm in this life. He taught us how to end the very cycle that keeps us trapped in suffering. This understanding can radically change how we approach life. Instead of living in fear of what might happen tomorrow, we begin to live with purpose, cultivating wisdom and compassion in every action, every thought, every moment. By doing so, we can free ourselves from the chains of samsara, leading us toward liberation and true peace. So, as we explore these dangers today, remember this: the Buddha's path isn't just a way to survive life's challenges. It's the way to transcend them altogether. Understanding and following this path offers us a way out of the suffering that binds us, giving us the chance to break free and find lasting peace. True refuge, as taught by the Buddha, is not about fleeing from the challenges life throws at us. It's not about finding a place to hide from pain or adversity. Rather, it's about learning to transform how we experience the world, especially in times of difficulty. The real question we should ask ourselves is not, where can I escape to? But rather, how can I face life's struggles with wisdom, equanimity, and peace? The Buddha, in his teachings, shows us that refuge is not an external shield, but an internal transformation. It's about cultivating the strength and understanding to stand firm amidst the storms of life. True refuge arises from within. Through the realization of the Buddha's wisdom, the truth of the Dhamma, and the support of the Sangha, the Buddha offers us the ultimate wisdom, a wisdom that cuts through confusion and shows us the path out of suffering. This wisdom teaches us how to see the world as it truly is, without attachment, without fear. Through understanding the nature of life, its impermanence, its suffering, and its interconnectedness, we are given the tools to navigate life with a calm heart and a clear mind. The Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha, is the way forward. It's the guidance that illuminates the darkness of ignorance and helps us develop right understanding. When we walk the path of the Dhamma, we learn how to make wise decisions, how to cultivate compassion, and how to free ourselves from the mental traps of fear and anger. And then there's the Sangha, the community of those who walk this path together. The Sangha is our support system, our companions on this journey. They are the ones who remind us that we are not alone, that we can share in each other's struggles and joys. Together, we grow in wisdom and kindness, lifting each other up when we stumble. In this way, true refuge is found not in avoiding the hardships of life, but in facing them with a deep sense of inner peace and strength. It's a refuge that protects us not only from external threats, but from the internal fears and delusions that keep us trapped in suffering. So, let us turn to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha as our refuge. In them, we find the strength to face life as it is, with wisdom, compassion, and peace. Taking refuge is not just a concept to be discussed or thought about. It is a living, breathing practice that we embody every day. But how do we truly go for refuge? Is it simply a matter of repeating a few words? Or is there a deeper, more transformative process involved? In this section, we will explore what it truly means to take refuge, and we will guide you step by step so that you can begin this journey with clarity and purpose. Going for refuge is not just an intellectual decision, it is a conscious, heartfelt choice. It's about choosing to place your trust in the Buddha, whose wisdom can light your way through life's darkness. It's about seeking the Dhamma, the truth that frees us from suffering. And it's about turning to the Sangha, the community that offers support and compassion as we walk this path together. To truly take refuge is to commit. It's an inner decision to embrace these three jewels, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, not just as concepts, but as living sources of guidance and strength. This commitment begins with understanding, with deeply grasping the profound teachings of the Buddha. It's about recognizing that life's challenges are not obstacles to avoid, but opportunities to grow in wisdom and compassion. Once you understand the true meaning of refuge, the transformation begins to unfold naturally in your heart and mind. When you turn to the Buddha, you are turning to the embodiment of wisdom. It is the Buddha's life and teachings that show us how to move beyond our confusion and suffering. The Dhamma, the truth he revealed, is the compass that guides us toward liberation. And the Sangha, the community of practitioners, is the support system that ensures we are never walking this path alone. Taking refuge isn't just a one-time decision, it's a living practice, a moment-to-moment act of bringing the Buddha's wisdom into our daily lives, aligning ourselves with the truth of the Dhamma, and seeking the company of the Sangha to help us stay on course. It's about embodying these three refuges in every thought, every word, and every action. So, when you take refuge, know that it is a profound act of commitment. It is a journey of transformation, one that will guide you towards peace, wisdom, and compassion. And as you continue this practice, you will experience the deep, inner shift that comes from truly living in alignment with these sacred teachings. The Buddha's teachings offer us a way out of samsara, the unending cycle of birth, aging, sickness, and death. But to truly break free from this cycle of suffering, we must first understand the true nature of suffering itself. Often we spend our lives trying to avoid pain, running from discomfort, or trying to mask our suffering with distractions or temporary pleasures. But all of these methods only deepen the very suffering we are trying to escape. The path to liberation is not about avoiding pain, but about facing it directly with understanding and wisdom. In Buddhism, suffering is not something to fear, but something to understand. It's through understanding the nature of suffering that we can start to unravel its grip on us. The Buddha teaches us that suffering is inherent in the world, not because the world is inherently bad, but because it is impermanent. Everything we hold on to, everything we attach ourselves to, is fleeting. The more we try to control life, the more we grasp at things that are always changing, the more we suffer. This is the essence of samsara, the endless cycle of craving, clinging, and dissatisfaction. To break free from samsara, we must look at life as it truly is, impermanent, unsatisfactory, and beyond our control. This is not a pessimistic view, but a liberating one. When we understand that everything is temporary, we no longer cling to things that are bound to fade. We can stop trying to force things to stay the same, and instead embrace the flow of life as it comes. The Buddha's teachings show us how to let go of attachment and ignorance, how to stop chasing after things that can never bring lasting peace. The path to liberation is not about escaping from the world or seeking to avoid its challenges. It's about seeing the world clearly, with eyes unclouded by desire or fear. When we can truly see things as they are, impermanent and beyond our control, we begin to free ourselves from the endless cycle of birth, aging, sickness, and death. We begin to realize that true peace is found not in avoiding the inevitable, but in embracing it with wisdom and understanding. By facing life head-on, with the wisdom the Buddha offers, we can break free from the cycle of suffering. We stop identifying with the ever-changing aspects of life, and instead we align ourselves with the unchanging truth. The truth that peace is found in letting go, not in holding on. This is the path of liberation, and it is open to anyone who is ready to walk it with an open heart and a clear mind. The decision to take refuge is not a small one. It's a choice that carries immense power. This decision is not just about what lies ahead in the future. It's about what you can do today, in this very moment. Taking refuge is not merely about seeking protection from external threats or dangers. It is about transforming the way we respond to the challenges life presents us right now. This is the true power of refuge. It shifts our mindset and helps us find peace in the present. Refuge, as taught by the Buddha, is not about hiding from life's difficulties, but about facing them with a new perspective. It's about choosing to respond with wisdom and equanimity, no matter what life throws our way. The Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha are not just ideals to aspire to, they are living practices that we can begin to embody today. By taking refuge, we are making a commitment to live with awareness, to turn towards our suffering instead of running from it, and to find strength in the teachings of the Buddha. So, I want to challenge you. Are you ready to stop running from the things that scare you? Are you ready to stop avoiding the pain, the uncertainty, and the challenges of life? Are you willing to face life with courage, wisdom, and peace, no matter what comes your way? Seeking refuge is not just a spiritual practice or an abstract concept. It is a way of living that we can choose at any moment. It's about transforming the way we engage with the world around us, starting right here and right now. You don't have to wait for tomorrow. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment. You can begin today. Taking refuge is a practice that unfolds in every moment, in every breath. It is a decision to live with intention, to cultivate mindfulness, and to embrace life as it is, with all of its beauty and its challenges. When we seek refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, we are not just waiting for peace to come to us. We are actively creating peace within ourselves. And that peace can begin today, in this very moment. So, are you ready to take that first step? The power to transform your life is in your hands, and it starts now.